I'm Jake Sanderson.
I'm Tim Stützle, and you're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast.
You're Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Postcast. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller. The Postcast is always brought to you by the Locked On Senators podcast and the Glebe Central Pub. The vibes are free at the GCP. Go visit them at 779 Bank Street. Let them know that Locked On Senators sent you. There's just 1 or 2 tickets left for the bus tomorrow night against the Seattle Kraken. So if you're thinking about heading to a game soon, get your tickets early. The GCP bus is buzzing to and from the CTC. Tonight, we're breaking down a 2-1 Sens loss against the New York Rangers on the road in a game where, frankly, they deserved better. Pillsy, how'd you see this one play out?
Well, this game played out great for the Ottawa Senators, apart from how the final score ended up. I mean, they outshoot the New York Rangers 41-18. They get a hot performance from Igor Shesterkin. I mean, if Igor and his agent want to talk to New York management about a new contract, I think you just download that condensed game and you just send that to them and show how valuable this guy is to this team. The Rangers barely got anything going. I mean, even their power play goal, Ross, was not that emphatic of a goal. Sure, Lafreniere open out front, but he barely gets a stick on it and just taps it in. And then the other goal is a great shot from Panarin that unfortunately Ullmark can't see because he uses Hamonic as a screen. So it's not like there were emphatic highlight reel goals. And the Ottawa Senators had amazing grade A chances, multiple of them from different players all throughout the game. And Igor Shesterkin was there to shut the door.
Especially that first period where Ottawa hits 2 posts and a crossbar. You're just like, come on. This goalie's good enough as is. He needs luck on his side too. And that luck continued into the second period where Adam Gaudette, who ultimately scored the Sens' lone goal in the third period on a beautiful one-timer cross-seam pass. If he's a left shot, that puck's in the back of the net. But he's coming cross-body, and it just, the angle from the corner is so infuriating because you just see the line just go right past the far post.
Or the overhead cam where it's just, ooh.
And Brady Tkachuk was nearly that close at the end of the game. The point shot from Jake Sanderson hits it. He did a little spin around, and it was so bang, bang, and you're looking for something in the net, so you don't really notice it or slow it down. You're just into the zone. But watching that back, like, he didn't miss by much.
No, it was close. And I don't know. I feel like even if he got close to a scoring rush, Shesterkin would have found a way to save it. I mean, this guy was incredible. Most notably, I would say, Ross, I don't know about you, but the biggest save Shesterkin had was in the third period. Makes a huge save on Brady, goes full splits, and Norris gets not 1, but 2 opportunities in front with the rebounds, and he stops them both while in full splits, each skate on each post, just shutting the door completely. And even Norris, he's behind the play, and I don't know what he says to Shesterkin after they showed the replay, but I'm sure it was just like, we can't get one past you tonight, like just giving him stick taps, because those are 2 grade A chances, 3 if you include Brady's shot, which the Senators hope to score on more often than not.
The puck movement to set that one-timer up, or that shot up from Brady, I think he stopped and then shot it, but was absolutely incredible. And you just thought it was a little bit too little too late. Of course, momentum is a real thing. And once Ottawa got that 1 goal, you could tell the Bees were buzzing in the offensive zone. And I'm going to go back to the second period for my save of the game on Claude Giroux. Just, he's already down in the down and hunched over, and is still able to pull out the glove save. Like, look, we're a hashtag goalie-friendly show. You got to respect what you saw in goal for the New York Rangers tonight. It's infuriating, frustrating as a fan, because that New York Rangers team, without Igor Shesterkin tonight, this could have been worse. The Sens played better tonight than they did against the St. Louis Blues, and I stand by that. They were dominant in this game. They just didn't have Joel Hofer or Jordan Binnington in net. It was the guy who I think is the king of the NHL when it comes to goaltending. Connor Hellebuck obviously off to a great start as well, but the way that Igor was moving laterally, and there was no the rebound obviously on that Brady shot, he made up for it by making the saves. But other than that, like, he was calm, he was engaged. It just felt like nothing was going to beat him. And that's got to be demoralizing for the team on the other side, where it's like, what have we not tried to beat this guy? And it just didn't go in.
Yeah, and Ross, obviously you're disappointed. Another game where the Ottawa Senators aren't able to claw enough to get a loser point. But for me, this is an event cast. For me, this is a fine cast because I have no issue with the way this team played. If they can put efforts like this together up against Stanley Cup contending teams on the road, nonetheless, consistently, we're going to see a lot more successful trips than not, because not every team has Igor Shesterkin as their backstop. And when you consider that this is without Artem Zub, without David Perron, without Shane Pinto, like, you get a couple more healthy bodies back, especially Artem Zub, to replace Travis Hamonic on that top pair.
It's crazy.
And
I wasn't going to go there yet.
Team is.
I wasn't going to go there yet, but this is the Ottawa Senators have a Travis Hamonic problem right now.
But I see, here's the issue is you can't just label it a Travis Hamonic problem.
I just did.
If he's on that third pair, he's not affecting the outcome of games like he is right now. And so, Ross, I would spin zone that into saying the Ottawa Senators have a defensive depth problem, because one player goes down and now you can't get a first pair properly lined up because you don't want to break up your second and third pairs. That's a real issue. And I know obviously Artem Zub is the defensive catalyst of that decor. I mean, you could argue Jake Sanderson as well, but Zub is the real pure shutdown physical defender there. And not having him is going to hurt your lineup, especially when he has such good chemistry with Jake Sanderson. But it's what are you going to do if Travis Hamonic is being put out of place? It's like the Nikita Zaitsev thing all over again. Like when he was on a third pair, was he a great NHL defenseman? No, but he's a serviceable third pair guy, which is what Travis Hamonic is supposed to be. Travis Hamonic was supposed to be a serviceable seventh defenseman, and now we're seeing him as the right-hand shot D on the top pair. So it's not sustainable, which is very obvious. And the stat cards show that, Ross. I know we like to pull those up from time to time, but
I don't want to, because the fact that Jake Sanderson's been at the bottom of those for 4 straight games, like, that's why we have a Travis Hamonic problem in Ottawa. The first goal, I don't actually blame him. He actually made a good outlet pass. Norris needs to get that puck out. They turn it over. It is the best player on their team, at least. I was going to say in the Eastern Conference, he's right up there with the top guys, the Nikita Kucherovs of the world.
Shesterkin would argue he's the best player on that team, though, Ross.
Well, skaters, okay? Leave me alone with that one. Panarin is so good, though. And look, he makes a great shot. Would you like Hamonic to maybe step up and take away time and space from Panarin, who really had no other option but to shoot the puck, right? He was a lone wolf on the turnover there. His other teammates, I don't know if they're changing or what, but he didn't have the option to pass. That was a shot situation, and if Hamonic can read that a little quicker, you step up, you take the body, you go down on one knee, you try to block the shot, or you get the hell out of the way so Ullmark can see it. And I saw a couple people point out that Ullmark, maybe the save percentage wasn't there. This is not on Linus Ullmark. This was a solid defensive effort for the Senators. It comes down to a power play goal where, yeah, you guessed it, number 23 doesn't take the shooting lane away and doesn't take the pass away. It goes right between his legs onto the stick of Alexis Lafreniere. I'm sure Rangers fans are having fun with that one. First overall pick in the 2020 draft gets the game winner in this one. But I get it. They're shorthanded. You have to cover the front of the net. But if a guy's backdoor and the other guy's on a bad angle as a right shot and has no angle to shoot, take the player away in front. Let Ullmark make that save from the corner. Or if that goes in, Pilsy, then you can blame the goaltending, because that's a low danger shot. And instead, the pass getting through, it's a tap-in goal, and it's just a game of inches. That tap-in goes in, Gaudette misses, and bingo, bango, bongo, the Senators lose 2-1, despite outshooting the Rangers 41-18. We'll get into the power play as well. 0 for 5 for Ottawa, 1 for 2 for the New York Rangers. The Rangers go 54% in the dot, block 23 more shots. So the shot attempts well favored in Ottawa's direction. The hits tied 28 each, and this is where it really gets lopsided. At 5-on-5, the expected goals percentage 68.2 for the Ottawa Senators. So it just kind of matches the eye test. The puck was in the Rangers zone for a great portion of the night. Ottawa with double the amount of offensive zone possession than the Rangers in their own barn.
Yeah, and you could tell that, Ross. Like, the Ottawa Senators were really pressing time and time again throughout the entire game. It wasn't like they stepped on the gas, let off a little, stepped on the gas, let off a little. Like, the Rangers get 9 shots in the first period, then 4 shots and 5 shots. The Ottawa Senators outshoot the New York Rangers 20-5 in the third period. Their 20 third period shots are more than the Rangers had the entire game. So they were really pressing. They were really putting everything they had towards the net. I thought they had a couple decent opportunities with the goalie pulled, especially Brady in front when off the rebound, off the pad save. He kind of slings it around, but just misses wide. Like, I wish this turned out differently, but it's really hard for me to be upset because if you're the coaching staff, there's not a lot of things other than what you mentioned, like that breakdown on the penalty kill. I think you nailed it there. Great breakdown by you. But other than that, you played a great game. And I think it's good that they have an opportunity to play again right away tomorrow night. And it's
must-win game.
We'll get into that. It's at home up against a team that does not have the same kind of Stanley Cup contention like the New York Rangers do. So I think it's good that you keep that fire going and you get to go back to the CTC for some home cooking.
We're going to get to a boots on the ground report. My best buddy Wes is going to join us. He's a New York guy now, but a born and raised Ottawa guy. Shout out Manor Park, where we got to know each other growing up. And he's actually been on the show multiple times. Remember, he made a full written page of notes when he came on. So we're expecting a good breakdown from Weasel in just a few minutes. But look, Will says it best here. Not upset, just frustrated that you can't get a point now. It's 3 games on the road now. Vegas, Colorado, and New York, the Rangers. And these are 3 of the toughest buildings to play in the National Hockey League. But coming out of those 3 games with 0 points, super frustrating. The Senators fall to 1-4 on the season on the road. They go 3-1 so far at home. Or 4-1 rather, so far at home. So that's kind of the silver lining here. You're hoping the Senators are able to get a couple more away from the Canadian Tire Center, where they'll be tomorrow night taking on the Seattle Kraken. And before we bring on Wes, just a quick word from our friends over at the Glebe Central Pub. Our friends over at the Glebe Central Pub are so supportive of us here on the Postcast, so make sure you support us by supporting them at 779 Bank Street. You can also get the Send Shuttle, just $17 round trip to and from the CTC. You just head to the bar, have a bite to eat, have a couple beverages, and then an hour and 15 minutes before the game, they'll take you right to the CTC. 15 minutes after the game, boom, right back home. And actually, the owner of the Glebe Central Pub, Blair Broussard, was at Madison Square Garden tonight, thanks to his friends over at Molson. Shout out to Molson. That's great work by them, getting our boys in the mix here at the GCP. So go to where the vibes are free at the GCP, 779 Bank Street. Let them know that Locked On Senators sent you. And on game days, 10% off shaved from your bill. The GCP, where the vibes are free.
This episode is also brought to you by FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on football all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you think you know what way momentum's going to swing, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same place where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch with FanDuel.
Welcome back to the Postcast. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller covering a 2-1 Sens loss against the New York Rangers. And we got a twofer for the people here. My buddy Wes, my buddy Brody coming on from New York City. Looking good,
What's
fellas.
up?
How we doing?
Let's go Sens!
Go Sens,
Hey.
go.
Oh, man. Boys, I guess I played with both of you. Did that look like a classic Ross Levitan goalie performance by Shesterkin tonight?
That was the best Ross Levitan goalie performance I think I've ever seen from the East Ottawa Vanier Voyageurs. But Shesterkin was the story tonight. He was just incredible. Sens played well. Not much, as they say, deserved a better fate.
It's just moral victories. The chat saying we've heard this for too many years. Like, was it a matter of bearing down on their chances? What was the vibe in the rink tonight at MSG?
We were definitely outnumbered, but we stood our ground in the lower bowl against the Rangers fans that were heckling us nonstop. But I think the Sens put up a pretty impressive performance. I mean, not the outcome we were looking for, but there was a lot of things to build on, like the neutral zone, the forward check, the breakout. Everything was clicking. Like, it seemed like overall a good team game, and obviously the shots tell a pretty interesting story as well.
Wes, the Ottawa Senators have been leaning on their power play a lot this season. They get 5 power play opportunities, but no power play goals. Did it feel like there was ever a time where the man advantage came up and you thought, all right, this is going to be the one, this is going to be the momentum swing? Or did it just seem like it doesn't matter, whatever we do, Shesterkin's just going to shut the door?
You go, Wes.
I think Brady Tkachuk was out there for a bunch of the power plays. Giroux, he was trying to win the faceoffs, and he was getting a little ticked off with the referees.
Oh, yeah.
You could see in close there was something going on. But I think we had our chances, and I think we just didn't get the bounces. We ran into a hot goalie, and I think we could play if we can repeat that game, that type of play in the next couple games. We're gonna get the right the bounces we need.
Brody, you look fantastic. Wes looks like the most New York banker guy of all time. Is that a button-up shirt under your? Is that a button-up shirt? Oh, heck yeah! The number 12 Pinto. That's sharp.
In New York, you gotta love that.
For the 2024-2025 season.
Now, did you rip the name bar off of the DeBrincat jersey for that, or is that fresh?
No, brand new from the wife for the birthday. So.
Very nice.
Yeah, but too
love
bad we
that.
couldn't see him play.
Wes, is that a button-up shirt, dude?
Yeah, he's got a polo. He's got a
buried.
polo on.
It's buried. You don't notice it.
So tough.
Forget about it.
That's so tough. You may as well be at the Scotiabank Arena wearing that thing. Like, come on, man. Clean it up.
You're right. I'm taking notes.
We'll get a better result tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm confident. You know, you really can't fault anyone that played tonight other than, and I hate to say this, you know, vibes are high, but Travis Hamonic, he's just unplayable. Like, I really hate to say it, but he's either just taking like needless slap shots when we could keep possession. He's not doing anything defensively. Both goals, him on the ice. I really hate to say it. I don't mean to be negative to the Sens or the guy, but we need Zub back, and Hammer's he's not helping us. That's the one downside from tonight.
And Brody, what we were saying at the start too, it's like Hamonic's on the ice typically right now with Sanderson, Tkachuk, Stützle, and Ridley Gregg, and it's like, buddy, you're not the shooter here.
Just pass it to anybody. Just do anything other than he just takes stupid slap shots all the time.
Must lead the league in missed shots. Owen here says, put Spartacat in at right defense here. We might get a better shot. But yeah, I hate to rag on the guy because it seems like after every loss, it's like a glaring weakness of the squad. But it's
totally.
Like at some point, man, like you got to call a spade here and fix the issue. But boy,
I will say though, Nick Jensen and Tyler Clevin both looked fantastic tonight. I thought that was Nick Jensen's best game as a Sen. He was flying out there, had control of the puck all the time. Tyler Clevin played really confidently, so I was impressed with those two guys.
Yeah, we haven't even mentioned in the third period. I think it was when it was a 1-goal game, Pillsy, was it? Or was when it was still 2? He tied up the stick back door, and that would have been a tap in otherwise. Yeah, so I like that call.
And the third and fourth lines too, they both played really well. McEwen is on a different level this year. Like something happened in the offseason with that guy, but he's playing real well now. So all in all, yeah, I mean, positive game. I think we'll be good for tomorrow.
We brought a few other Sens fans with us.
Oh yeah, you found a few?
There we go. Let's go, ladies.
Those are long-time listeners, first-time callers.
Yes, you are. Boys, love the insight. Before we let you go, give us a Sen Central standout. Brody, I know you ripped off a few names there that impressed you, but one player who deserves some love after tonight's game.
Yeah, I'm going to say Nick Jensen. I know I said it before, but I thought he was, one of our best players, both defensively and offensively. He was great tonight. Really impressed with him.
Besides our goal scorer, I would say Ridley Gregg was throwing his body around and was creating opportunities. So good to see.
The ladies have one too, because they can't go with Shane Pinto. Handsome Shane Pinto, not an option tonight.
I always gotta say Stützle.
Nice.
Stützle just flies. I love him. I think he's great. I think he takes control of the puck, sends it, passes it, just clears the way, and I'm a big fan of Stützle.
Love that. Love that. Okay, those are some Send Central standouts. Wes, Brody, appreciate
awesome.
the heck out of you
Great.
boys.
Thanks,
Have a great
boys.
night.
Keep
and
doing the great work, guys.
Oh,
Go
thank you. Thank you.
Go, baby.
Some friends of the show. Love that.
See you
Talk
guys.
to you soon, guys. Take care. Great conversation there with Wesley Nixon, Brody Apatov, and their lovely ladies after a 2-1 loss. They brought me some good vibes there. I needed that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like a 2-1 loss, and now going from 5-4 to 5-5. Typically, you'd be upset about that, but I find myself not that upset about that. Like, there's just so many other spin zones for positives about this game that we can get into that give me hope that at least this team is trending in the right direction. Like, I honestly think the Avalanche and Vegas games were much more devastating than this, even though it's not giving up points to Eastern Conference teams. But I mean, I don't think the Rangers are going to be in a wild card battle spot with the Ottawa Senators, so it doesn't hurt that much either. But yeah, this is a fine cast. Everything's fine, guys. They're 5-5. I know it's November, and we got the November scaries, and you lose the first game on November 1st, but it's going to be okay.
It's going to be okay. Can't control life, writes in. He'll be annoyed if we lose tomorrow. I think a lot of Sens fans will share that sentiment. Let's bring the noise to the CTC. Let's let the boys know, even though the loss did happen in regulation, the effort was there. And the one thing that you can say, and I wanted them to win so bad, not only because I live bet them after the second period, but the Rangers slogan, their hashtag last year was no quit in New York. I wanted the thumbnail to say no quit in Ottawa tonight, but that is a theme throughout the season. Whether they're down, whether they're tied or up, this team has not taken their foot off the gas pedal in the third period especially, and I think that's a good sign. Look, it's an 82-game season, and I would recommend, and look, there are no excuses this year. There just aren't. But that said, we looked at it when the schedule came out. The last 20 games of this season, the Senators could easily win 15 games. Light opponents, lots of home games. But with that, you've already seen Vegas, Colorado, the Rangers, the Devils, the Panthers, the Lightning. These are like 6 of the top 8 in odds for the Stanley Cup. So the fact that they're 5-5, I don't think it's any time to panic. And look, this is the same Ross Levitan, third person. This is how seriously I'm taking this. I was down bad after the Colorado game. The way they played tonight gives me a ton of confidence going forward. Let's get to the power play, and then we'll hit our Send Central standouts. 0 for 5 tonight, a couple with no shots on goal. Like, it was due for a regression from 42%, but it just sucks that they couldn't get one, and then they lose the special teams battle by 1, and they lose the game by 1.
Well, Ross, if you remember on Friday's episode of Locked On Senators podcast, my keys to victory talked about exactly this. It was the classic and unstoppable force, the Ottawa Senators power play, one of the best in the league, up against an immovable object in the New York Rangers penalty kill, which is also one of the top in the league. I believe it's third in the league. So this is a team. And then when you got a hot goalie like Shesterkin, like your penalty kill is going to absolutely dominate. So I said, this team's not going to win a game up against the Rangers by leaning on the power play. They got 5 power play opportunities and didn't score on a single one. So this is kind of what I expected here, which is unfortunate, but it's a good lesson, Ross. Honestly, I'll spin zone it. The old saying, I think it was the Cleveland Cavaliers coach, Ty Lue, saying these aren't losses, these are lessons. So we got a lesson here, is that you cannot lean on your power play like this up against good defensive teams with good goalies. This is what's going to happen. You're not going to be able to push through all the time, even if you get so many chances. So that's something the Ottawa Senators are going to have to look at and figure out ways that they can improve their 5-on-5 play, even though I thought their 5-on-5 play was pretty damn good tonight as well.
It was. And the expected goals in all situations were 2.76 for Ottawa, 1.92 for the New York Rangers. At 5-on-5, 1.73 for Ottawa, 0.88 for the New York Rangers. And look, even though the Rangers only had 18 shots, the fewest amount the Sens have given up since March 6th of last year against the Anaheim Ducks. And these ain't the Anaheim Ducks that came in to tonight's game. This New York Rangers team has serious cup aspirations, but I thought they were pedestrian at best. With that said, 18 shots against Linus Ullmark tonight. Is there a chance you run him back tomorrow at home against Seattle?
You know my answer. It's absolutely not. Ross, I want that bolded, underlined, circled, and highlighted. Absolutely not. We're talking about a guy that had a strain where he had so many, oops, is he going to start? Oops, is he going to play? The last thing you want to do is push him in game 11 of the season. So no chance.
Hard-fought game tonight for the Ottawa Senators. They lose 2-1 to the New York Rangers. We'll get to our Sen Central standouts and a preview of the Seattle Kraken Ottawa Senators game tomorrow night. But first, Pilsy's got a word from one of our favorite sponsors.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. Best part? You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this football season. Which players are going to go off? Which ones aren't? Makes your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn those sports opinions into real money all season long on Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Check it out today, guys. Prize Picks, run your game.
Welcome back to the Postcast. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller, and let's just cut the BS. Why are you not clean shaven? I have a pretty good excuse.
This is a fair question, and I was ready to face this in this press conference here, so I will face the music here. First off, we did a pre-record of November 1st episode on October 31st, so I already was not shaven for November 1st, and then it's my fiance's 30th birthday tomorrow. We're doing family photos and everything, so I'm going to keep the beard nice and clean. November 3rd, officially clean shaven, and I'm going for the Movember. So I apologize that I'm going to be a couple days late, but Ross, similar to you, had to appease to the lady, the boss. And then right after that, it's time for Movember. So I'll be getting the pictures updated on our Movember page, and you guys can follow along. Thank you to everyone that's made donations so far. It's all in the name of a good cause to raise awareness and funds for men's health.
Very good call. We got our Sen Central team, and it's brought to you by Lalim's Martian, so check out that. We'll put the link in the bio here underneath the page. I've already put in $25, hoping to raise some more, and instead of growing the mustache, I will be running/walking 60 kilometers for men's health this month. I'm having my firstborn child later this month, and the wife said there is no chance that your first photos with your firstborn will be you looking like a madman.
Or that's the first reveal. That's not a good first reveal.
Yeah. Daddy issues right out of the womb. All that said, the Ottawa Senators lose 2-1 tonight, and tomorrow night they're going up against a very tough goaltender. Our guy, Joey Decord, we're expecting to start against the Sens. We'll get to
Philip Grubauer to start as of now.
No, I did that on purpose. I did that on purpose. You see what I did there?
Yes.
So all that to say, tonight we got 2 great Sen Central standouts. 3 of them, actually, if you go with Michelle, had one as well. So appreciate that was a great segment. I was nervous of what we were going to get from them. They far exceeded my expectation. Those are my boys since, Wes was the best man at my wedding, and Brody and I have known each other since, as he said, the East Vanier Voyageurs way back in the day. So great to get their insight. We're not going to double up on their Sen Central standouts. We had Ridley Gregg from West. We had Nick Jensen from Brody. Michelle had Tim Stutzla. Who was yours in tonight's game?
All right, well, I'm glad it's left to me because I thought he was the best player for the Ottawa Senators, and that's Adam Gaudette. He scores a goal. Like we mentioned, he had that opportunity early in the game where unfortunately he sends it across the crease, not in the net, but he was buzzing. I was really thinking that they were going to upgrade Gaudette to the third line. Not that Ostapchuk played bad. I don't get it twisted. I'm not trying to say this should have been a demotion for Zach Ostapchuk. I thought he played really good, and he almost had his first NHL goal as well. He had a really good opportunity early in the game. But I just wanted to see more of Adam Gaudette, and I liked that at least on one of the power plays, maybe even two, they started the second unit because I thought the second unit was actually clicking a little bit more than the first, and I just wanted more Adam Gaudette time on ice, and I thought he was a really impactful player, and he's really making a case for himself for evolving the fourth line role from the Ottawa Senators. So I'm loving what I'm seeing from Adam Gaudette here. But wait, before you cut in, Ross, I believe he only has, is it 2 more games or 2 more days until he'll require waivers again? So the Ottawa Senators are not going to be able to do their little cheeky paper up and down to accrue cap space here.
He'd get claimed now.
He would 100% get claimed now.
He's got more goals than Austin Matthews this year.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. So I think he's deserved the right not to kind of have to go through that. I'm sure it affects his paycheck. So I think
he's probably the highest paid player in the AHL. He's making $450K at the AHL level.
I think he's making
$775.
That's a nice little pay boost, even if it is for a couple
paycheck. Days. I mean, it's not the same as a guy making $90K at the AHL.
No, definitely not. Yeah, and I'm glad that's not hurting. That's not what I'm trying to say. But I just mean more out of a respect level, Ross. It's just like, no, we're not even going to do the little paper transactions. You're an NHLer, and it's going to stay like that.
Danny is reading my mind. At what point, even if it's within a game, just for a couple shifts, do you try to put him up with Timmy and Brady? Because, I mean, he's a shooter.
Yeah, but I love the way Ridley Gregg's playing on that line. So for me, that's a no. I think you could elevate him to the third line, and I think that would be effective. But I'm leaving the top 6 as is for now. I really like the way Ridley Gregg is playing on that line. He's created offense for both Brady and Timmy. He kind of is the selfless guy on that line, the Zach Hyman, if you will, that's going to do whatever it takes to try to set those guys up because he knows that's where the points are being produced.
I just got to give another stick tap to Adam Gaudette, though. Like, that goal tonight was a goal scorer's goal. Like, this is not just a fourth line chip and chase, get it in front of the net, but that was a rip.
Well, that would be a perfect case for you to make the case for him to be on that top line because he was playing with Brady. And I don't know if Timmy was on the ice at the time or not, but shout out Brady Tkachuk. I mean, we know him as the power forward that gets shots, gets hits, and occasionally gets in fights. But that was an incredible playmaking play. He goes to the corner, shoulder check, sees Adam Gaudette. He's like, I got to do whatever I can to get Adam Gaudette the puck. And he wastes no time. And from the corner, slings it all the way across the ice, right on the tape. And Gaudette's burying that.
It's strange because that was a pass from Brady, right?
It was, yes.
Yeah, on Money Puck, they have Gaudette, Gregor, Amadio as the line that scored the goal. Ce n'était pas ça.
People in the chat let me know if I'm wrong, but I'm 110% positive that was Brady.
Well, you can't be over 100%.
Don't tell Game Time that.
Brady Tkachuk is the primary assist on that goal. So it was absolutely, unless he teleported 110%. Off the ice after he made the pass, it was absolutely Brady Tkachuk with the pass on that goal. And you just wish they could have buried that chance in front. Josh Norris right on the doorstep. And
twice.
Oh, man. Igor Shesterkin. Give that man a blank check. Seriously.
And Ross, now that our goalie's locked up for 4 years, goalies deserve to make more money. Like Igor Shesterkin deserves more money.
Million.
Raise the bar for all goalies around the league. And Shesterkin, what I love, Ross, and I talk about this all the time, him and his agent aren't going for dollar amounts. They're going for a percentage of the cap. They don't give a damn what the dollar is. They want to know Igor Shesterkin is making X amount percentage of whatever the cap's going to be. I think that's the new way agents and players are going to try to make deals because that makes sense.
And Seth notes here, love the play tonight, but good teams get loser points. When was the last Sens pulled goalie goal? Now,
It's a good
Seth,
question.
it was Sunday against the Avalanche. Unfortunately, though, they had already allowed an empty net goal.
Asterisk on that, yeah.
It's definitely an asterisk on it, but it was on Sunday. Claude Giroux with 9 seconds left in a 2-goal game doesn't have the same impact. So, Seth, I get why you would think like, hey, was that even one? If you give one up and then get one, it just is a wash. So they're even at that. But, man, it's just too bad the way the chips fell tonight. 3 posts in the first period was a backbreaker. But credit to the Ottawa Senators. After the first period, the shots on goal in tonight's game were 33 for Ottawa and 9 for the New York Rangers. 33-9 in the final 2 periods on their own in a hostile environment. Just unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate. And like the thing is, Ross, it's early in the season, so these types of losses, I know people in chat are saying I'm spin zoning like the dryer cycle here. I'm trying to find positives, but as this year goes on, you cannot let those loser points slip away, especially the Sens are going to be battling for a wild card spot. We know the New York Islanders make a living off loser points, so that's something you got to watch. You need it. It's loser talk, but loser points are important.
Well, here's Rangers great, and this from our guy Steve Warren, who says he's watching the Rangers post-game show. Henrik Lundqvist, an analyst. You ever heard of him? You might know him as the guy who allowed 4 goals to Jean-Gabriel Pageau in 2017, but obviously a legend, future Hockey Hall of Famer, says, quote, I haven't seen many NHL teams this season play with that level of intensity, referencing the Ottawa Senators. So teams are taking note around the league. The Sens team is different than in years past, but for the Sens fan base, I totally understand the frustration. I shared it over the weekend, but look, the way that they played tonight, you're a playoff team if you play like that every night.
Especially up against a team as good as the Rangers, Ross. So this is a fine cast. We're fine. We're not great, but we're not down bad either. We're fine.
2-1, the final score. Sens fall against I want to say very good, but they didn't look very good tonight, the New York Rangers. This was Igor Shesterkin looking the part, and nobody else was even close to the level that he was at in this game. Any final thoughts on the game? And then we'll preview the game up against the Seattle Kraken at home tomorrow night, which is going to be huge.
No, I think we've pretty much covered it all. Again, I'll say I think it's huge that the Ottawa Senators have a chance to bounce back tomorrow. This is not a loss I would want to stew on for too long, and there's not that much video they need to go over to work on either. So I'm confident the Sens are going to have a great bounce back, and they've been very good at the Canadian Tire Center this year so far. So all good. Get to the games too. Get to the games, people in the Ottawa area.
Yeah, you have to. Put your 2 hands together. Again, there's very limited seating on the Glebe Central Pub Shuttle, which is a good sign overall. The fact that the Ottawa Senators are bringing out the fan base to come see them play, and they're 4-1 at home. The only loss was against New Jersey, and frankly, that was one you might want to have back, that giveaway in the second period, but Giroux's been so good since then. Unfortunately, his 7-game point streak comes to an end in this game, but look at Brady, man. Points in 9 out of 10 games this year for the Sens.
Yeah, and he leads the way. And Ross, obviously, that mistake by Claude Giroux might have cost him that game, but I think it was worth the sacrifice because Giroux turned his season around. I mean, well, I shouldn't say season, it's so early, but turned his game around after making that mistake. I think he had a hard look in the mirror and realized he needs to be better. And then he gets on a new line with Josh Norris and Drake Batherson, and he's been a completely different player. So it's those types of hardships you have to go through to grow and change and adapt, and that's one of them.
Yeah, and Owen points out in the chat, I like this one from Owen, just saying, look, the next 4 games, these are winnable games for the Ottawa Senators. You got the Seattle Kraken tomorrow, then Buffalo on Tuesday, the Islanders, and the Boston Bruins. Those are some big games. We got our guy Johnny Lazarus, who just joined the show yesterday. He was at the game tonight, so we want to bring him on here for some quick post-game thoughts. Johnny, was it as Igor Shesterkin of a victory tonight as it looked on TV?
You're talking about winnable games, but tonight was a winnable game, no?
It should have been.
You should have won.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But we talked about it today. Like, I feel like the biggest thing for Ottawa tonight was the Rangers PK. I think the Sens went 0 for 5 tonight.
Yep.
Yeah. 0 for 5.
That's the difference maker. I mean, who got the backdoor play on the crease like late?
Oh, Brady. Brady missed by that much.
Yeah, I mean, when Igor did the full split post to post.
Oh no, that was
Norris.
Josh Norris, right?
Oh
in front.
my God, I think he looked up at the sky and was like, "What the hell can I do?"
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, I thought Ottawa played really well. Honestly, the first 5-6 minutes, I thought the Rangers were actually going to run them out of the building. The Rangers had a lot of jump. You know, that first goal, Lafreniere makes a great play on the forecheck, kind of backtracking, I guess. And then Panarin, when Panarin scores that early on a shot like that, you kind of feel like he's going to have a night. But for whatever reason, second period, Ottawa, I thought, controlled the play for most of it. And the rest of the game, it just kind of a weird game, right? It was very, I don't want to say boring, but there wasn't a lot of jam, you know?
Yeah. Well, especially in the building, right? And that's usually a sign of a good road game, right?
Well, the Rizzler was there. He got the people fired up.
Yeah, seriously. That's when we knew it was over.
Yeah. No, but yeah, the building wasn't very energetic. Unless Igor made a big save. That was really the only times where it got loud.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, Johnny, hey, I want to preview your piece because you had one up about Drake Batherson. You got to talk to him after practice. What were your thoughts? Not only about that, but you had a couple notes that we didn't even know about the Sens all coming out together at the morning skate. And what was your experience being around the team today?
Well, I first got to thank you, Ross, because you fed me a lot of stats, and I did mess those stats up, and you caught me on them. So I had to edit the story a little bit.
He goes in 47 games with Pinto, Norris, and Stützle in the lineup. The Sens are 46-10-2.
Yeah, man.
That's not great math.
It made no sense. But in fairness, I thought I was going to have to post a story later tonight, so I was kind of taking my time with it, and then I got to text my editor hey, when are you going to have it done? So I was just kind of in a panic mode. I guess I don't know if that's really in fairness, more just defending myself for no reason.
Hey, we always say we defend the guests on this show, Johnny. So you're one of us now, buddy.
We got you.
Yeah.
That editor screwed you.
Yeah. Beat it, editor.
Not true. But yeah, no, honestly, so I talked to a couple of the guys, Batherson, obviously, who was super nice. Usually guys talk to media, then they kind of want you to get away. He saw that I was standing around, though. He was sitting next to Josh Norris, and I was waiting to talk to Josh Norris just because 4 years ago in the city randomly, actually. I don't know if I told you guys this story on the show, but I was in the West Village with 3 of my friends, and this is right when I was done playing, so I had no front teeth. These are fake. So I was out with no front teeth. And, I look in the corner of this bar, which wasn't really a crowded bar, and at a table, talking to nobody is Josh Norris, Quinn Hughes, Jack Hughes, and Will Lockwood. And I was I walked up to them and I was does nobody recognize you guys? And they're like, no, not really. And I was well, let's have fun. Let's have a day. So I asked Josh today if he remembered me, and he was yeah, I thought you looked familiar. He could have been faking it, but whatever. But yeah, Linus Olmark was super nice. Who else? And honestly, one of my favorite guys in the league who I've gotten to know just for the past 2 years with Florida being here is Nick Cousins. I love that guy. And I know his reputation is whatever around the league just because of how he plays on the ice sometimes. But when it comes to being a teammate and being a guy in the room that people love and respect, Nick Cousins is one of those guys. He's awesome. But yeah, those are really the only guys I talked to. I talked to Brady briefly for 2 seconds. But yeah, the one thing that you hit on, Ross, was every morning skate at MSG, guys come out one at a time. Typically when they're ready, they just step on the ice and wait in the bench for the Zamboni to be done, or they mess around and do whatever they want. But the Sens literally came one by one out as a group for their morning skate, which I thought was, somewhat telling of something,
Yeah, no doubt. And we saw Alfie skating around there before.
Yeah, he still got it. Got it.
When guys are out for a morning skate, but they're probably going to play a little maintenance, he takes line rushes now. And whenever TSN 1200, the radio station in Ottawa, they tweet out the lines and they just put Alfredson in the line rushes and everyone's like, get him in, get him a jersey. 11's available for him only. Let's go.
That's good. Yeah, no, I remember last year he was doing a one-on-one drill with Shane Pinto, literally just one-on-one battles and no gear, which is crazy.
Yeah, he's an
animal. But the other thing I should bring up too, I kind of picked up some traction. The Tim Stützle getting hit with the puck twice in a row in front of the net. Oh my God, man! So just little Sens locker room stuff. When they got, first of all, Brady Tkachuk was cracking up. So They were doing a drill where you like dump the puck in, do a quick cycle, get it to the point, go to the net for a tip. And Sanderson took the first one, hit Stützle right in the inside of the leg, and I think Hamonic hammered one that hit him like kind of like lower stomach.
Shocker.
And he went down on both.
Slap shot, I bet too.
Huh?
From Hamonic.
Hamonic only takes slap shots. It's outrageous, dude.
Yeah.
It's outrageous.
So Stützle's obviously not happy about it. Brady's cracking up, skating around the ice, like saying Scott Sterling. Like, it was so funny. And then in the locker room after, Stützle was one of the last guys off, so I didn't get to really ask him about it. They left an ice pack outside of his stall, like on his stall. And Hamonic walked in. The first thing Hamonic goes, I know I can't curse, I'm going to do it anyway. Hamonic goes, first time he's been in front of the net all fucking year. So that was pretty funny. And then
the chat's going to be mad about that one because the Hamonic's taking a lot of heat for his play. And just the fact that he's on the top pair, man.
Yeah. But no, I thought Ottawa played really good tonight. I thought they deserved a better outcome.
Well, we just said in here on Rangers post game, Henrik Lundqvist says he hasn't seen that type of intensity out of any other team in the National Hockey League this year. Yeah. I mean, that's high praise.
Yeah.
So, anyways, man. Hey, they're still headed to Detroit, pal.
Yeah, Detroit's cooked.
Johnny, is that the most stifled you've seen this New York Rangers offense all season? Like 18 shots. Like, sure, you get the goals from Panarin and Lafreniere, but they weren't really cooking much of anything tonight.
Well, and only 8 blocks as well. Like the shot attempts were just in enormous favor for Ottawa.
I think once they got the second goal, they weren't even trying to create anything. I know that second goal.
That's just a microcosm of what the chat's been tonight.
Yeah.
No, listen, I love the chats are always great. Big fan of our chat and my show and stuff. So shout out to your
morning cup of hockey. Let's go Monday through Thursday.
Thanks, boys.
Friday's off though. That's questionable, pal. You're not never there.
Playoffs Fridays on.
Okay.
I call college games, so I drive up.
Hey, we haven't missed a day in the playoffs yet.
I get it.
I hate it.
What I forgot what you even asked me.
Oh, just is that the most anemic the Rangers offense has looked this season?
Well, let me try to do quick math because last game they played against Washington, they were outshot 45-19. So the last 2 games they're getting outshot 96-37.
Wow.
In the last 2 games alone. And Igor's save percentage on the year, I don't know if you have it in front of you. Guess what it is right now?
Ooh, I'll say 940.
That's high praise. Close. A .931, which is insane.
Woo!
Yeah.
Wow.
Insane. Facing
Contract year.
shots in back-to-back games. But yeah, for whatever reason, I don't know. They weren't able to generate, and their energy after the first 15 minutes of the game lacked. I don't know what it was.
Yeah. Well, we'll just credit the Sens. How about that?
Yeah, no. Full credit to the Sens.
It sucks though, because last weekend in Vegas, they blow a lead with 4 minutes left. Then they tie it up against Colorado with 7 minutes left, and they don't get a single point out of either. You just felt like tonight they deserved at least a point and couldn't get it. So there's some frustration mounting. I'm not sure if we're calling tomorrow a must-win game yet. We'll discuss in a few minutes, but it's just tough to leave points on the board, albeit against all 3 of those teams, cup contenders.
Yeah. Who do they have tomorrow again?
Seattle at home. Yeah. So we'll see, man. Anyways, Johnny, appreciate you. Hey, we're going to have to start paying you if you're on Locked On Sens twice in one day. We appreciate the hell out of you. And we're going to point everybody to that great article you wrote about Batherson today at Daily Faceoff. So appreciate you, man. Friend of the show status, and we'll talk to you soon, all right?
Thanks, boys. Later.
All right,
Johnny.
There goes Johnny Lazarus, our friend of the show here, covering the New York Rangers. Great. 3 boots on the ground reports tonight.
Look
4.
at us.
Love that. All right, Pilsy. Game day preview against the Seattle Kraken at home. Must-win game? Where are we at with this? Sens are 500 on the season through 10 games. They're 5-5. What's your feeling going into the game tomorrow night?
Well, I want to see in the chat, people in the chat, let us know if you think it's a must-win game or not. For me, Ross, we can't get too carried away tossing out the must-wins like they're coupons at the fall fair or something. I think the St. Louis one
We've had
sense.
one. We've had one this season. Last year through 10 games, I think we had 6.
That's exactly my point, Ross. Is last year we went nuts with it, and it it became a bit more of a bit than actually like, hey, they have to win this game. For
I'm
me,
gonna put a poll.
tomorrow is not a must-win game. The St. Louis game made sense because of the way they lost those games and getting no points. These were great efforts all the way through. They got goalied by arguably the best goalie in the world. Tomorrow is not a must-win game in my eyes.
So what is it then? Just a please play well game?
Honestly, just run it back. If they played this exact same game they played tonight up against the Seattle Kraken tomorrow, I'm very positive they can get the win. Seattle just doesn't have that firepower to take advantage and get 2 goals on 18 shots like the New York Rangers did. I mean, the Panarin shot was nice. They set up that power play goal. They find Lafreniere all open. So I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too calm, but like you said it, Ross, we went crazy with the must-win games, and it just felt like we were grasping at straws last year. So I'm trying to hold on that title for actual meaningful must-win games tomorrow. Not that for me, but I'm not saying like mail it in and who cares, but yeah.
64% of the early returns on the vote think it's a must-win game. The other 35 are telling us to shut up because we've been doing this time and time again. But it's the once bitten, twice shy mentality, or 7 times shy or 7 times bitten, because the Ottawa Senators have not been able to get off to good starts. And 500 though against the teams they've been playing, it's fine. It's fine.
What's your answer?
Yeah, you got to win at home, especially if you're going to lose all the time on the road, albeit playing well in multiple of these road games tonight in Vegas, most notably coming out with no points. Like, if you're going to drop those points at home, you better pick them up, on the road, rather. I'm all over the place. You better pick them up at home. Sorry, I got a text from my mom. And happy birthday, Mom. She says, you've known Brody since you were 2. I think I said 8. So Brody and I go way back. I know.
Happy birthday, Patty.
Yeah, exactly.
But so let me ask you this then. We can't just toss out must game wins, and if you lose, just verbal meme, Homer Simpson going back into the bush. What happens if they lose tomorrow? Like with the St. Louis Blues game, if they lost that, I could have gone on about the ramifications and how that would have derailed their season. But I don't see that same emphasis on tomorrow's game. So if they lose tomorrow, Ross, what is the doom and gloom of that? Because I think, like, look, after tomorrow, you got Buffalo, New York Islanders, and the Boston Bruins. Like,
must-win week.
Yeah, exactly. I think those are much more manageable teams than the New York Rangers, which was the next opponent coming off that St. Louis Blues game.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And we've got Alfie's Mullet saying we need an emergency mom's trip to save the season if they lose tomorrow. I don't know if the moms want to go to Buffalo on election night. It's going to be an outrageous evening.
Ross, we should have texted Wes and the crew there. Bring the scissors. Find the main electrical outlet for Madison Square Garden. Cut a couple wires. Little delay.
I'm sure it's easy to find. It's not like it's an important area or anything.
Small half-hour delay, and then you get the game going at 7:30. That should have been the game plan.
Oh, man. Are you hoping we see Joey Decord, or would you like him to sit on the bench tomorrow night?
Nope, Ross. We have a new phrase here for the Ottawa Senators fan base this year, coined by our friend at Leames Martian. Give it to the German. I'm talking to Seattle coaching staff about their goaltending decision. Give it to the German. Let Philip Grubauer start tomorrow's game.
We also saw a win for the Seattle Kraken against Montreal. The same night, Ottawa beat the Blues 8-1. Montreal lost 8-2 to the Kraken, but the Kraken also played on Halloween last night and fell 4-1 to Toronto. So it's another opportunity where, same as St. Louis, they've been in this area for so long. They've already played their 2 games, an extra day off. Let's see what kind of energy the Sens can bring, because Seattle's kind of a Jekyll and Hyde team. What did I say?
Jekyll and Jive?
No, Heckle and Jive. I actually kind of like that. Maybe that'll be a new
That's
thing.
better. Yeah, true.
Yeah. Forget the history books. Let's go with that. Should we listen to Travis Green after the game? I'm actually curious what he had to say about tonight's game in particular. Now, you can head to the Sens YouTube. They posted this 4 minutes ago. Thomas Chabot, Tim Stützle, Michael Amadio, they all spoke to the media. We'll point you in the direction of the Sens YouTube page for that, but I think it is worthwhile here as we ride out on the first half of a back-to-back here on Locked On Senators to hear what the coach had to say about this game. You think we should play it?
We can. We're coming up to an hour here, and our mission statement for the postcast was to keep them short, keep them sweet. But if we're already at this mark, the good people are hanging around. Let's hear what Coach Green has to say.
Yeah, 172 citizens in the chat. We really appreciate everybody for riding with us after each and every Ottawa Senators game. The chat says play it. We'll play it. Here's Senators head coach Travis Green following a 2-1 loss to the New York Rangers.
Safe to say you liked everything about your team's game except the final result.
I sure did. Yeah, I mean, you pretty well said it. That was a really good game for our team. It's tough that, I think it's pretty obvious that we played a good game. So their goalie played well.
Easy to say throughout the course of this game, stay the course. Just tell your troops that.
Yeah, I thought, first period, I liked the way we came out. They got the quick goal, but I like how it didn't phase us. I thought we got better as the game went on. Loved our second, and I thought we left it out there in the third.
A rare night where the power play isn't able to convert. Can you walk us through what you maybe saw on the ice there?
They've been going well all year. They had some good looks. Give their team credit, give their goalie credit.
I would assume it's pretty easy to carry over the momentum that you built throughout this game and the energy level into tomorrow's game.
Yeah, it's always tough when you're playing back to back and the other team's resting, but we're gonna have to come out and do it again, take care of ourselves after the game and reset and play another one tomorrow.
Short and sweet from the head coach, Travis Green. Pilsy, your thoughts on what you just saw?
That's kind of what I expected, right? Like Travis Green knows that's exactly how he wants this team to play. It's unfortunate. And then he mentions it, like Seattle, they're coming off a bit of rest, albeit they've been on the road, like you mentioned, but not a far road trip, Toronto to Ottawa. And
far away from Seattle, though.
Well, yeah, but they're already in Ontario.
Yeah.
And that was talking planes. But
it's a third of a 5-game road trip. So hopefully maybe a little lull in the middle. I won't be mad if we see a similar performance from Seattle that we saw from St. Louis on Tuesday.
Yeah, that would be nice. But yeah, you're going to have to be a more tired group, especially there's not a lot of options for this team with the guys that they don't have available to them, Perron, Zub, Pinto. You're going to have to show your battle here. You can't get down on yourselves after losing a game you felt like you really deserve to win. Let's see what these guys are made of. I predict a big bounce back game tomorrow, Ross. I think we see another puck line win. Like, I don't think they're going to squeak out a 3-2 overtime win or something like that. I think Forsberg's going to shut the door. He's had success up against Seattle before, and it's a beatable team, in my opinion. They don't have that high-end star power. They've got good depth, but I think the Sens can beat this Seattle Kraken team, especially at home. Helps.
Pilsy, some final thoughts on tonight's 2-1 loss to the New York Rangers.
Final thoughts for me is similar to the New Jersey game, but I would emphasize even more so right process, wrong result. And it's something you can build off of. And I want to see more efforts like this. This was arguably the best game the Ottawa Senators played, in my opinion. Even better than the Vegas game, even better than some of their wins, honestly. Like you mentioned it, Ross, better than the 8-1 win. They played better. So I'm not mad. I'm not upset. Pilsy preaching positive Pilsy preaching patience on this one.
Yeah, stick taps to Igor, like our guy Matthew says in the chat. You got to tip your hat to a great goalie. Shout out to all our guests tonight. We had a handful of guests. And we're going to try to do this more on the postcast because I think it's all about getting the energy of the fans and getting people involved. Yep. So we're going to continue to do this more and more, especially boots on the ground. I love because obviously we're watching on TV just like everybody else, but to get a thought or 2 or 3 or 4 from people who are in the crowd, I think it's just awesome. So we appreciate that. We appreciate the citizens riding with us through an hour post game. This means a lot to us. Please like the show. Please comment. Please review. Please share with your friends. It really does go a long way to helping us grow. And shout out to Molson for getting Blair and the GCP crew at the game tonight at MSG. That's awesome. Blair's a great guy. It's awesome, too, because his name's Blair Brassard, and he rocks a Derek Brassard Sens jersey to the games. Number 61, too. 2.0 version.
That's a good jersey to rock at Madison Square Garden, too.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, he had some great years there and scored twice in his 1,000th game at MSG a few years ago. That was a great time to be a Sens fan. We watched that game together in Cabo. That was right after the Columbus game. Or no, it was before the Columbus game. That was Chychrun's first game with the Sens at MSG. But tonight, unfortunately, a 2-1 loss against the New York Rangers. A chance to bounce back within 24 hours. The boys will be back in action at home. So bring your two hands, clap them together, and have a night. We'll talk to you in the postcast tomorrow. It'll be a Martian and me postcast, and Martian is boots on the ground. So we like boots on the ground on the postcast. We'll have another one tomorrow night. Appreciate Bizla. Go deal with the crying baby. Appreciate all the citizens in the chat. Shout out to Noodles too on the color. We got to get Noodles back on the pod here. Going to try to connect with Mike Kelly next week and all that with the postcast during the evenings. We're going to try to get more and more guests throughout the week. So please make sure to give them some stick taps. Shoot Kyle Bukauskas a text on Twitter. Mention him on Instagram. Just say, hey, thanks for joining the Locked On Sens, boys. It really does mean a lot to all the people who give their time. We don't pay them to come on. They're giving their time and effort for you, the fans. So please make sure to show some love to all the guests on LOSP. For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan, and considering it was a loss, I would say this was more of a vibe cast, a fine cast, a mid cast. Call it what you want, but I think that tomorrow will tell the tale. Let's continue with the GSGs in the chat. Appreciate the heck out of you. We won't play Danger Flutes. That's wins only, but we'll ride out here. The Senators fall 2-1 on the road. They're 5-5 on the season, and they'll be against the Seattle Kraken tomorrow night. Thanks so much. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.